story, get the headlines as they happen, and watch BBC News live wherever you are. Download the BBC News app.
Hello again, I'm Sally Bundock, bringing you now the top business stories.
Hello, Tuesday the 8th of December. This is BBC One. Now at 6 o'clock, breakfast.
Good morning, welcome to Breakfast with Sally Nugent and Dan Walker.
Our headlines for you today.
In the north, it's all going on. I'll have the details in 10 minutes.
Good morning, it is Tuesday the 8th of December. Our top story for you. It's one of the vaccine rollout or V-Day day today as the UK begins the process of immunising people against coronavirus.
The first batch of an initial 800,000 doses have been delivered to hospitals across the country. The Prime Minister has called it a huge step forward in the fight against the disease. Here's more from my health reporter, Jim Reid.
It's the moment these NHS workers have been waiting for since the start of the pandemic.
We've got everything we need now.
The first mass vaccination programme for COVID-19 starts this morning across the UK.
They mustn't expect this to come immediately. Those people who are vulnerable, they will get told, they will be notified and just be ready when they get it. But in the meantime, even though this is such a massive, momentous day, we still have to carry on with social distancing, with the restrictions until we get enough people vaccinated. But it's a great day.
Catherine, thank you. And we will be following the progress of the vaccine rollout throughout the programme. And we're also going to be talking to the Health Secretary, Matt Hancock. That's at 7:30 here on Breakfast.
Elsewhere this morning, talks to find a UK-EU trade agreement. I texted him last night, I said, are you all right, how's your body? And he said, well, actually, I think I could do another one tomorrow if you ask me. You don't need to, Kev.
No. Let's go straight to Carol now, who I know has been monitoring the weather for Kevin over the last few days as well, checking out on the freezing cold temperatures he's been running through. Morning, Carol.
Good morning, both. He has been amazing. What an achievement in every single sense. Now, the weather today, well, it is a foggy start. Sal and Dan.
Lovely, Carol. Thanks very much. We'll see you again about half an hour for a full forecast.
Look forward to that, Carol. Sorry. After you.
Oh, thanks. So polite. Shall we have a look at the front pages this morning?
Yeah, go on then.
This is it, the Mirror. Our fight back starts today. That's the headline for them, along with a photo collage illustrating Britain's battle against COVID-19.
Daily Telegraph is one of the papers who lead on Brexit this morning, which leads on Brexit. They're reporting speculation from EU sources that The
Times has a great photo of Dr. Harry Shukla and his wife. He'll be one of the first people to receive a COVID-19 vaccine today. He's told the paper, I am delighted to be doing my bit.
And look at what a cover that is. The Yorkshire Evening Post is a picture of superstar Kevin Sinfield and his teammate Rob Burrow as well, back in their playing days at Leeds Rhinos. And the headline reads, a true friend.
You got some inside pages for us?
I have. Well, since we've finished on Leeds Rhinos there, if you're one of those people who...
Seen pictures of these things popping up all over the place.
What is going on with it?
It's very strange. Well, there are various theories. So this...
£115 million lottery win. Do you remember them, Francis? Good on them, is basically all I wanted to say. Well done.
That's a lovely story.
Well, it's easy to, think about what you do with money, but I'm sure many people think about giving it away, but don't. But Francis and Patrick Connolly have given away over 60 million quid.
Wow. My goodness. That's a lot of money.
I know.
Guess what? Another Brexit delay
Yes.
to tell you all about today.
His old friend and former teammate Rob Burrow, who has motor neurone disease. Let's remind ourselves of his incredible effort.
That was an incredible moment yesterday when Kev finished. I love the way he pushed everybody out of the way because he hadn't quite got to the right distance on his watch. And we're delighted to say Kevin will be here with us at 8:30 this morning, and we're going to update him on the totals, aren't we?
Yeah. It's just a beautiful friendship, isn't it? And I think so many people watching that who maybe didn't know too much about what Rob was going through beforehand after watching the documentary, and then hearing about why Kevin was running and why that meant so much to him. I think it's just so many I know our viewers and many other people as well felt very proud to be just a tiny, small part of being able to donate to an amazing cause and feel part what is a really special story, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about that friendship, isn't it?
Yeah.
And those teammates. They're
Yeah.
so special. It is 6:27. We're back in just a minute, but now let's get the news, travel and weather where you are this morning.
As you'll know, or we'll hear a lot about today, the new COVID jab will be given from today as part of a mass vaccination programme. We know many people still have questions about it, so do get in touch with us if you're one of them. Maybe you want to know how safe it is, or you might be one of those questioning why one of the companies behind the jab has been given legal indemnity by the government, meaning it can't be sued if there are problems with the vaccine in the future. Well, email us whatever your question to yourlondon@bbc.co.uk, or get in touch with us via BBC London Twitter or Facebook, and we're going to try and get answers to your questions tonight at 6:30 on BBC One. But now let's take a look at the travel situation for now. Well, that's it. I'm back with the latest in half an hour's time, but also don't forget that Vanessa Feltz will have her breakfast show from 7 until 10, and she's going to be answering a lot of questions from experts to do with the COVID vaccine, which is on a lot of people's mind this morning. We'll see you later. Bye for now.
Hello, good morning. Watching Breakfast with Sally and Dan this morning.
Coming up on Breakfast this morning, captain, friend, inspiration, rugby league legend Kevin Sinfield will be joining us on the breakfast sofa at 8:30 after he ran a magnificent 7 marathons in 7 days in support of his teammate Rob Burrow. And we might just have some more surprises for him.
The Fight Back starts today. We'll be live at the hospital where the first patient will receive their Pfizer jab this morning. And after 8 o'clock, our expert panel will be answering your questions all about the rollout. Also on today's programme.
I'm a donkey.
Now, as we have been hearing, it is V-Day as the UK starts vaccinating people against COVID-19 with the Pfizer-BioNTech jab.
Well, the rollout starts this morning, bringing huge benefits to public health, but also a major logistical challenge. Let's get a better idea of how it will affect the front line of healthcare with one of our regular GPs, Dr. Fari Ahmad. Morning to you. Lovely to see you.
More than anything else.
Yeah, sold. Dr. Fari Ahmad, thank you very much indeed. Lovely to talk to you this morning. Busy few days. GPs, nurses on the front line.
Yeah, lots happening today. It's 37 minutes past 6 and Kat is here this morning talking about, well, quite a bit of interest in the game behind you on the screen there tonight,
Yeah,
Kat.
it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out. The big discussion over the past few days in football, hasn't it? It's been the role of the gesture of taking a knee. We're going to get into that this morning here on BBC Breakfast. Good morning, everyone. Players from Millwall. And there'll be a new sport at the 2024 Olympic Games in Paris. Breakdancing. Breakdancing at the Olympics. What do we think?
Could be quite inspirational. I imagine all the kids will love it.
It'll be one of those ones where people go, what? That won't work? And then they'll be glued to it for days.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Still feel sorry for sports like squash.
Still squash.
Haven't got in, but...
Left out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kat, thank you.
Should we find out what's happening with the weather? As promised, half an hour ago, we told you Carol will be back. What have you got for us, Carol? Good morning.
A bit of everything, actually. Dan, good morning, Sal.
You're right, Carol. Loads going on. The full package this morning. Thank you very much for that.
Pleasure.
Keeping her busy, aren't we?
Yes, I know.
Now, it is around this time of year. Lots of us would be cramming into school assembly halls to watch our children perform nativity plays and...
Good morning. Welcome to Breakfast with Sally Nugent and Dan Walker.
Our headlines today. The first person in the UK has received the coronavirus vaccine. 90-year-old Margaret Keenan is a patient at Coventry Hospital.
This is all part of the biggest vaccination campaign in the history of the NHS. We're live this morning at some of the 70 hospitals where those first jabs are being administered.
No breakthrough on a post-Brexit trade deal.
The details in 10 minutes.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, the 8th of December. Our top story. In the last few minutes, the UK's mass vaccination programme against coronavirus has begun.
This is Margaret Keenan, who you can see there. She is 90. She's 91 next week, actually. She was the first person to receive the Pfizer-BioNTech jab at the University College Hospital in Coventry. That's one of 70 hospitals around the UK which will be giving the vaccine to over 80s and some health and care staff. The Prime Minister has called it a huge step forward in the fight against the disease.
This is quite a moment. This, as you can see, is the first person in the UK to receive the vaccine. Margaret's been a patient at Coventry Hospital. As Dan said, she's 91 next week. She's told staff this jab feels like an early birthday present. The nurse delivering the jab, you can see there, is matron May Parsons, and that has just happened within the last few minutes. These pictures that we're bringing to you have just come into us here this morning. Margaret, of course, she's known as Maggie, happy to share this moment with the rest of the world.
It's quite a special moment, actually, isn't it? So, as Sally was saying, it's her birthday next year. She was born in Enniskillen. She's lived in Coventry for 60 years. She worked in a jewellery shop, local jewellery shop, until she was in her mid-80s. But this is all part of the largest ever vaccination programme across the NHS. And the aim is to start with Maggie, but for millions of us to be vaccinated against coronavirus.
She will, of course, because of the jab she's having, she will have another jab 21 days from now. So what we've seen there is just the moment that Maggie got the first injection of the vaccine. 2 doses, as we know, need to be administered, one today and another one in 21 days' time.
And like many other people across the UK, Maggie's been self-isolating for most of the year, and she says she's planning on having a very small family bubble at Christmas to keep safe. We can actually go now live to our health correspondent, Catherine Burns, who is at that hospital where Maggie has received that first jab this morning. Catherine, this feels like a pretty important step forward for all of us.
Do you know, it really does. I think here today in Coventry we've seen a real moment of history. The first patient in the world outside of clinical trials to get this vaccine against coronavirus. And this has come after 60,000 deaths. This couldn't have come soon enough. So like you said, Margaret Keenan, she was wheeled into the ward. She's in hospital for tests. She was wheeled into the ward about 6:15, and then at 6:29 she became the first person to have this Pfizer vaccine. She says it was the best birthday present she could have asked for, and she says if she can have the vaccine at 90, then everyone else should have it as well.
The world's first sort of vaccination.
Thank you very much for that this morning. So we'll be having plenty more from University College Hospital in Coventry. And if you just switched on, that's Maggie Keenan, who we've been watching this morning, who is 90 years old, and she has been given the very first vaccine in the UK this morning.
Just a little bit more about the vaccine that she has had. We know that 800,000 doses of the vaccine have been delivered. That's enough for 400,000 people, of course, because this is the one where you have one jab and then another one in 21 days' time. And we don't know yet when more doses of the vaccine will arrive from Pfizer's manufacturing plant. But that moment that we've just brought to you there feels like something, doesn't it?
It does feel quite significant, doesn't it? And hospital hubs now around the country have got possession of the vaccine, and they'll start vaccinating over 80s, care home staff and health workers. This is the first wave of the programme. If you just switched on...
The first Western nation to administer this vaccine. Maggie is very happy for her picture to be taken and has agreed to do this. She actually had the vaccination just around 6:30 this morning. And, you know, she's been checked out by everybody. She is well, feeling fine. You can see her having a chat to the matron there. We saw her being prepared for the injection. Very calm, very happy. And as Dan said, she's saying this is like an early birthday present. She is 91 next week, and until only just a couple of years ago was working in a local jewellery store. She's been living in the Midlands for the last 30 years, originally from Enniskillen, but very much settled in the Midlands now. She's been shielding, like lots of people.
Yeah, like many people.
Yeah.
And I suppose in terms of numbers, you'll know that there's 800,000 doses of the jab have been delivered. That's enough to vaccinate 400,000 people. But it's unclear as to when the rest of those vaccines will actually arrive. And that's one of the questions which we're going to be putting to the Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, who's going to be live on Breakfast at 7:30 this morning. So busy old morning, lots to talk about. And as well as the vaccine and seeing and watching Maggie Keenan get the first vaccine in the UK this morning. Talks to find a UK-EU trade agreement from the start of next year.
To be given to people on the high priority list, including the over 80s, care home workers and NHS staff. So that's what we can see there. There's 800,000 doses.
Let's run you through some of the figures this morning that we know about, give you a clear picture that there's 50 hospitals in England that have been chosen as vaccination hubs. That's sites where the jab will be administered. In Scotland, there'll be 23 vaccination sites, including all major hospitals and in the Highlands.
Now, the Welsh Government is promising to administer 6,000 doses of the vaccine by the end of this week. And in Northern Ireland, where there's currently a 2-week lockdown, 25,000 doses of the vaccine have already arrived. People will start getting the jab there later today.
Let's speak now to Professor Stephen Powis, the Medical Director of NHS England. Good morning. Lovely to speak to you on the programme this morning. Many will remember that a few days ago you described the vaccine as the beginning of the end. I wonder how you feel watching Maggie Keenan get that first jab this morning.
Well, good morning, Dan, and it's a really cold morning here in Coventry, but at 6:30, just over half an hour ago, when Maggie received the first COVID-19 vaccine, it was really, really emotional. I can't tell you just how much emotion there was in that vaccination centre. This is a truly historic day, a turning point in this pandemic, another world first for the NHS, the start of the largest vaccination programme in our history. And as you said, NHS staff have been working tirelessly around the clock to make this day happen. And 50 centres, 50 hospitals around England and others across the UK will be starting vaccinating today, vaccinating the over 80s like Maggie, care home workers and some NHS staff as we really get this programme rolling. More vaccination, that the pressure will start to ease on our staff. So they are celebrating too.
Well, Professor, I know you've got a busy day ahead. We appreciate your time. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you, Dan.
That's Professor Stephen Powis, who is live on Breakfast this morning, talking about Maggie Keenan, who's got the first, we can say the first person in the world to get that Pfizer jab outside of clinical trials.
That was Maggie. She's the first one. It's incredible. It's a big day. It's a really big day. And we've got the Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, here with us at 7:30 this morning. And where the rest of the stock is going to come from. That's another important question.
Yes, some very important questions. He's going to be in about 10 minutes' time. But also today we're looking at... Kev Sinfield's going to be on this sofa, actually. First guest we've had in the studio. We'll all do it carefully at a wide social distance as well. But he's going to be here, first one we've had since March, to talk about why he wanted to help his friend Rob, and also, I think, talk about the response, which has been quite incredible. I think it's over £1.7 million now, isn't it?
He's overwhelmed, he said yesterday, completely overwhelmed. It's taken him completely by surprise.
It's going to be a good morning. We'll also be speaking to the Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, in a couple of minutes' time as well, about the fact that the first person in the world who's in the UK, Maggie Keenan, 90 years old, has received the first vaccine in this country, but also the first person in the world to get the Pfizer vaccine outside of clinical trials.
Yeah, that's quite a moment. It's at 7:26. Before all that, let's get the news, travel and weather where you are this morning.